everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today because we are joined back by the one and only Amir. Yes.
Hi, darling.
How are you today? How are you, darling?
This year has aged me. I feel like, am I 40 yet? Like, I'm just like, how this year is, what is it, day 17, and it's already a lot. So I don't know.
I'm over it. I'm kind of over it. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel that every January is weird and I just forget. Like my podcast people that kind of do my back end stuff, they're like, every January you go through this. Everyone is going through this. Everyone is hibernating in January. Everyone is trying to figure out their game plan for the year. I'm like, I know, but this just feels weird, like with the fires and just everything, right?
Mhm.
I
It
don't
is
like it.
fire. It's just the Justin Baldoni, Blake Live. If I see another video about it, just
I mean, okay, well, we might as well talk about that for 5 minutes. It's not a video. It's just, well, what do you think of all this? Because now, look, she sued him, right, claiming sexual harassment, and then he sued. Then the New York Times did this article, and then he sued for 250 million. Now he has sued Ryan Reynolds and Blake for $400 million.
ooh.
And he's not claiming any type of sexual harassment, although he has said no, it was her who lingered with a kiss and she kind of came on to him, but he's suing for extortion, defamation, and invasion of privacy. Basically saying, and I have actually a lot of notes. I don't know, I've never been so prepared in like weeks, but he's basically saying, his lawyer is saying that, no, this is too powerful Hollywood people that just came in and said, we want this movie to be ours. We don't give a shit if you're the director, and just shoved him aside. And, look, this is what lawsuits are made of, right?
I mean, I just what so he's personally suing them. So initially it was a $250 million suit. Now it's a personal lawsuit. So again,
Because the 250 is to the New York Times. Now he's suing them for $400 million.
got it. Okay, got it. Okay, so this is what I didn't understand from this whole thing. I always said Blake and Ryan had a lot more to lose than he does. So why go after him? Like, I just,
I don't understand it either. I really don't. I mean, that's the thing. I say this all the time. Like a huge corporation doesn't sue a person. Like Carolyn Manzo is suing NBC. NBC is not suing Caroline. Liam McSweeney is suing NBC. Like corporations and people with money get sued. I agree with you. Like they have $400 million to lose. He does not. So, right. So he's saying, like, it's a power couple that set out to ruin and destroy the little guy, two enormous, powerful stars that stole the movie. And, he's now showing a picture that apparently is him and his family relegate allegedly to the basement. He's saying Ryan Reynolds at the premiere of Deadpool went up to his manager or agent and said, you're working with a sexual predator. You do know that, right? And then kind of implied that the manager should drop him. And, so he is saying, and then now Blake Lively's people have responded and said, this is just another chapter in an abuser playbook. And, it's just another classic case of a woman that was sexually harassed and abused and has filed a suit. And all of a sudden, the abuser becomes the victim. So we really have, he said, she said, it's really two totally different. But I do agree with you, if she's really wronged, fine. But otherwise, you're opening a can of worms when you have this much money.
you really are. And, money aside, of course, if something happened, he should be held accountable. But aside from that, it's like for months, she was the villain. Now he's the villain. And again, in my opinion, this is Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. They are both kind of in the wrong. I don't, I'm not like I stand with Blake and people are hashtagging that on Instagram. A lot of big celebrities. I'm sorry, but I've worked with A-list celebrities. Their word means nothing. They'll change it next week. I stand with Justin. So people are now like shifting towards kind of making Justin the villain, Justin Baldoni. But at the same time, I'm like, he's like grasping at straws. He's like, oh, the man bun in Deadpool, they were making fun of me. I'm like, you're grasping at straws. Like, seriously.
Well, talking of grassroots trust, he also mentions, I mean, because all roads lead back to Taylor Swift. He mentions Taylor Swift, not really in the lawsuit, but kind of, and just says that Blake even enlisted Taylor Swift to pressure him. I guess Taylor Swift came by a meeting that he was having with Blake, and Taylor's commented, or her people have commented, like it's a friendship and we were going out. So I guess she met Blake on the set. And I guess then was making comments like, wow, your writing was great because Blake rewrote some stuff. And Justin is saying that Taylor is saying, oh, how this script is so great and you did so great with this, that was her inadvertent pressure because Justin was standing right there to basically say to him, Blake's writing is great and you better go with her draft.
Oh,
These are,
come on. Oh,
I,
come on, David. I mean, give me a break. And then Ryan Reynolds also wrote like some scene during the writer's strike. So a lot of people are upset about that. But what I want people to understand that are getting upset is that the rules have always been different for someone who's a billionaire, not a millionaire, but a billionaire. The rules have always been different for rich, entitled, we got to say it, white celebrities. And the fact of the matter is, everyone forgot these are two people who got married at a plantation and they didn't get canceled. Nobody talked about it. Nobody said anything to them. So they've gotten away with a lot of stuff. So I'm not really surprised that they're going to get away from smearing this man to get a movie that, again, I enjoyed the movie, all the bad press aside. I thought it was a good movie.
really, I honestly have not seen it.
I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. It really does a great job discussing, DV and going into it. And it's actually very well written. I don't know who wrote it at this point, but whoever wrote it, it's like, it was a good movie. But was it good enough to like ruin a man and then ruin your own career? I mean, at the end of the day, everyone kind of finds them to be all annoying. I don't think anyone's sitting here going, I love Blake Lively. I mean, maybe they are, but I think everyone's kind of annoyed with all of them.
And like, look, I have heard the Leah Michelle spin on Blake Lively for years. So like two things can be true. She can be an absolute nightmare that is entitled and is extremely difficult to work with. And Justin could be just a total douche who thinks that, he's the hottest thing in the world, which I mean, these are all good looking people. Let's just put it at that. I mean, I know that's not really Blake is pretty, Ryan is gorgeous, and the weird thing is you didn't hear anything about Justin on the Jane the Virgin set for all the, I mean, he was on the set. You never heard from him from America Ferrara or anything. And it was also a great show. But you did hear that from Blake on Gossip Girl. Not that that diminishes any of her claims, but I agree. This is just, I don't know. It's he said, she said. People seem to be really invested in this. I guess that's what shocks me the most. People are really into this. I don't know why. I think
It's
people will have fatigue, right? Like I think it's too much.
they're gonna get sick of it. I'm already sick of it. And there was a time where I was really into it and I was looking at all these flow charts and watching all the TikToks. At this point, when I see it, I just scroll by. I really don't care anymore. When people started posting "I stand with Blake" hashtags, I was like, why is Molly Sims getting involved? Like,
Seriously, and I agree with you. You stand with Blake because she's a bigger star. You stand with Ryan Reynolds, and I agree. If it's going to help your career, listen, Housewives and Bravo people are the same way, right? I mean, we're going to all stand with Andy Cohen against Leah McSweeney, and you know what I mean? It's like it is what it is. Speaking of Bravo, what do you think of this happened last week, but what do you think of this whole Sutton slipping out, that you have infidelity and whoops, and I didn't mean to do it. Kyle has done an interview and said that Sutton, after that, she absolutely does not think this is unintentional. She absolutely thinks it's intentional. And when they stopped filming during like the scene, like I guess when they stopped filming, Sutton came over and was like, "Oh my God, I got so confused and I didn't realize."